Now from Atlanta News First Plus, this is Sports Tonight.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to Sports Tonight. I'm sports producer Scott Pennyman here with Emily Gagnon. Emily, how are you feeling?
June 5th. I still can't believe. We're a month away from July 4th. Isn't it crazy to think that just the time is going by so fast?
Are you lucky?
That's my thought. What?
Are you really excited for July 4th or something?
I usually like July 4th, but I like July 1st better.
Really?
Not because I'm not a great American, but because I'm a great Canadian. July 1st is Canada Day.
Okay, I thought you were excited because isn't that Bobby Bonilla Day?
Oh, well, I'm excited for him too. Very excited for him.
That's every sports person. Every sports person's holiday. Of course, you aren't getting the $1.2 million, but when you said July 1st, that's the first thing I thought of from a sports standpoint was Bobby Bonilla Day.
Yeah, no. July 1st is Canada Day. July 4th is obviously USA Day, and I celebrate both because I am a dual citizen. But
that's pretty dope.
More exciting than both days is the Stripers coming to Peachtree Sports Network.
You beat me to it.
Ellie, what's going on over there? Ellie's trying to do something with my camera.
You beat me to it. I was just going to jump into Stripers too because I'm like, the Peachtree Sports Network does it again.
They keep growing.
It's like a conglomerate of all the local sports. I mean, Peachtree, it doesn't stop with the Dream. We have the
Frisbee League.
The ultimate Frisbee League, all right? Now, the Peachtree Sports Network is bringing the Gwinnett Stripers to air games on the Peachtree Sports Network. A bunch of them.
Yeah.
There's several
13.
13 games as a whole. So, look.
Show the slate, Scott. There we go.
Well, you got the slate.
Or Ellie. Ellie or Scott, whoever's controlling
it's
this bad
the genius
boy.
Ellie. She's over there on the slate. All right, so look at this. Starting with June 14th against Nashville. They have back-to-back games against Nashville, Memphis, Jacksonville, Charlotte, Nashville, and Buffalo. And look, greatest thing is
you get a Buffalo to wrap up the season.
The Buffalo, all right.
And they're happy to be here at that time because it's starting to get cold over there then.
What? Already September 14th? Look, I've spent a lot of time in Buffalo.
You've been removed from Cleveland for too long?
No, look, I've
spent a lot of time. Getting cold.
I've spent a lot of time in Buffalo too. I would like to think.
I'm not going to ask why.
Well.
Usually.
No.
Okay.
Well, no, it's real simple. It's not a secret. Mike's girlfriend used to live in Buffalo.
See,
so
I was going to say, it's always a woman or a man. Always.
You got that right to drag me to Buffalo.
See, I knew it. I was like, Scott had a girlfriend in Buffalo.
In Buffalo. So I spent a lot of time over a 2-year span in Buffalo, and I like the city. Okay, I'm just saying, So the Stripers.
Is it not cold?
Sure. If it's like, well,
it's colder than Cleveland.
Yes, they get more snow too, but it's kind of comparable, right? So when
it is not comparable. That's Canada. Buffalo's Canada.
Well, yeah, but all those
areas. You get that lake effect though.
That's the part right there. It's the snow. The snow is the main difference. Once that snow starts coming and everything like that. But look, they don't have to worry about that in September. At least I would hope they don't have to worry about that in September. It's a lot of trouble if they got to worry about that in September. But anyway, there's the schedule right there. So excellent news. Just really cool for the Peachtree Sports Network to just be so aggressive and dominant over all these local teams. I think it's pretty dope.
It is cool.
Especially the Dream.
And you get to watch some of these prospects, these Braves prospects. If you love Braves ball, you get to watch the prospects before they get to hit, the big leagues. So I think it's great. And possibly somebody on a rehab assignment, like Sean Murphy a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Hey, that's when it's really dope. Just when you have major league players that come through there on rehab assignments, not just players for the Braves, but also players from other organizations that may come through and be on those rehab assignments. So you get a chance to see some major league players too. And like with our general manager Eric Schrader, he loves, he stresses by getting local sports and the ability to be able to watch sports locally on local stations.
Yeah.
So that's
awesome.
Really special, and that's an awesome thing to be able to have. So once again, the Gwinnett Stripers headed to the Peachtree Sports Network. Now, let's talk some football. All right, so I was out there with the Falcons this week as they're wrapping up their OTA schedule this week as they get ready to head towards mandatory minicamp. Obviously, once the season starts, there'll be a whole lot of different storylines. I guess let me ask you, Emily, what storyline are you looking forward to the most once training camp gets started?
I mean, everybody's going to do the same story is going to be what's happening now is what's up with Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix Jr. and how many reps do each quarterback get, and could Penix actually maybe, supersede Cousins? Like, there'll be people out there saying that. You know that, right?
Of course. I mean, the first game when Kirk Cousins, look, that opening game, if the
no, we don't even need to go to the opening game. We can talk about like preseason. Well, Michael Penix Jr. is going to start those games.
Well, of course. I mean, you always get fans to get wrapped up.
The hype is going to start then.
Right. You always get fans to get wrapped up in preseason games and go, look, the backup, he's much better than the starter. Look at that.
That's
not understanding that he's playing against guys who are going to be physical education teachers in a couple weeks. Right? Let's just be real, right? A lot of those guys who get into those early preseason games are players who are not going to make a roster. They're going to be those gym teachers in a few more weeks. Well, let's say about another year or so. We all had them in high school, right? Didn't we all have those gym teachers that say, hey, I played a year or two in the NFL? And nobody believes them because we're like, we don't remember seeing you on TV or anything like that.
And they gained about 30 pounds.
Right. Those are the kind of guys who are on the field when some of those backup quarterbacks in preseason games are thriving. So you always have to take that with a grain of salt. But, yeah, I do think because of where he was drafted, because of the city we're in, they see a left-handed quarterback like that, it gives them memories of Michael Vick. And let's just be real. Our producer, Ellie's over there trying to tell us something. I'm in the middle of my...
What do you... No, she's giving us info for the show.
Oh, she's giving... One of my gym teachers literally had a Super Bowl. I knew it. See? I had teachers, I think, at every level of school that said they played in the NFL at some point or they were in training camp. Seriously.
Wait, Ellie just told us that
the 85 Bears?
One of her gym teachers were on the 85 Bears and have a Super Bowl ring.
Now that's extraordinary because I never had a teacher that had a Super Bowl ring.
Did the teacher show you the ring?
He never showed us the ring.
See, now...
It's true.
Okay, so
we got it checked out.
So that's believable now. No, but I'm telling you, I remember going back to middle school, high school, all that stuff. Like I think in middle school, there was a teacher we had that was with the Buccaneers in preseason, like in the 70s or something like that. Got cut 500 Buccaneers or somebody. So there's always that gym teacher. So that's what I'm saying. These preseason games, of course, it's going to happen. Penix might come out there and throw for couple touchdown passes, everybody's going to get excited, and they're going to say, he should be the starter, look. And look, maybe he should be, who knows, right? But he's not going to be because you gave $100 million guaranteed to Kirk Cousins. He's going to be the quarterback. But, yeah, I think that will be the
well, and as soon as, okay, let's just pretend, as soon as Cousins has a bad game or a couple bad games.
Of course.
If he does, I'm not wishing that upon him.
Oh, he's going to have bad games.
What I'm saying is, like, a couple of games in a row, people are going to start whispering, maybe chanting, yelling that they want to see Penix in. You spent money, a top 10 draft pick on this guy. Put him in. Let's just see what he's got.
Right.
The only way it would be kosher, okay, and when I say kosher, I mean kosher on the team, within the team, no drama, is if Cousins, God forbid, injured himself again,
right,
and then Penix had to play. And then you're going to see a very, and this is nothing against Penix, but a very unpolished product.
Well, what happens if he gets in there and then he takes off?
Okay,
like
rookies always have rookie moments, though.
Well, true. But let's say, like, Cousins goes down and then 3 or 4 games in. I mean, let's say Cousins goes down week 5 or week 6. Penix comes in and, bam, he hits the ground running. Then what do you do?
That'd be, well, are you of the mind that you lose your job to injury, or
that happens all the time.
I'm saying, are you of the mind, or do you lose your job? I'm talking about performance-wise.
See, I'm not the guy who paid Kirk Cousins $180 million. So I don't care. If I'm a fan, I just want to see the best quarterback play. And if Penix looks like he got everything shaken, then I'm sticking with Michael Penix Jr. But once again, let me reiterate, I'm not the guy who paid him all the money. So I'm sure that plays a huge role, too. You know how the business of pro sports works. I mean, they want the guy out there playing who they're paying the big money to.
Let me be clear about this, okay? It's not just in the big leagues. It's also in college. Kirby Smart, year 2, 2017, my first year covering the Dogs, game 1. Mm-hmm. Jacob Eason's the starting quarterback. He goes down with an injury. Jake Fromm, who is Kirby's guy, comes in. Guess who never saw the field again?
I'm guessing Eason?
Yep.
Yeah.
Eason, who got injured. So he lost his job to injury because Jacob Fromm blew up.
Yep.
And guess what happened? They went to the national championship that year and lost to Alabama.
Yeah.
And Kirby just couldn't get Eason back in the game because of how good Jake was playing. And nobody really ever talks about that because of how successful the Dogs were that year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you go to the national championship with a freshman quarterback in Jake Fromm. You're not going to tell Kirby he did the wrong thing. But what I'm telling you this for is because that was Kirby's guy, okay?
Yeah.
There was nothing against Eason.
No.
Because he went to Washington, I believe, and balled out.
Yeah, he did.
But what I am saying is that Raheem Morris picked Michael Penix Jr.
He did.
He was also there when they decided to bring in Cousins. So I'm not saying Cousins isn't his guy. But what I am saying is that Raheem absolutely does have, like, some kind of loyalty to Penix.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, honestly, I'm sitting here kind of wandering off thinking about it. If Penix gets in there and plays well, they're going to stay with him because we can say that they gave $100 million to Kirk Cousins guaranteed, but in the NFL, that's just monopoly money. I mean, that's really nothing in the grand scheme of the NFL. NFL owners probably have that in their side pocket, like $100 million. They just wanted to make sure.
It's going to hurt a little bit.
Yeah,
it's not comfortable.
Well, no, it's not comfortable, but let's just be real. They just wanted to make sure that the quarterback position was stable. That's the reason why they paid $100 million guaranteed to Kirk Cousins, because they just wanted to make sure no matter what, they had a competent quarterback that could play that position. So now that you've done that, look, everything else is golden. So if Penix takes over at some point and plays well,
it's the nature of the game, right?
At the least, you're at least good at the quarterback position. And that's all they really we're striving for this offseason anyway. As a matter of fact, do you know who I talked to today?
Who?
The quarterback, TJ Yates. He knows a little bit about them quarterbacks as he coaches them every single day. So he actually brought this topic up about kind of what the dynamic is going to be and what the yells are going to be from the outside with Penix and Cousins going to camp together. He knows what's on the horizon. So enough of me. Let's hear from TJ Yates talking about the quarterback room and just what he's looking forward to in the 2024 season. How positive do you feel about your position group and kind of the progress they've made?
Absolutely, they've been great. It's obviously it's great to have a quarterback with such experience that he has. So you're not really starting fresh. He's got experience not only in this league for a very long time. He's got experience in an offense that's very similar to this. So a lot of the things when you're installing or you're going through practice stuff, he's done this stuff a lot. He has had experience in these exact same situations. So it's refreshing to know that he's gonna lead us in the right direction. He knows what he's doing. He has input on things that he's done in the past. And as far as where we're at as a room, obviously Mike is progressing along very nicely. He just got here about a month ago, so he's learning every single day, every single rep, every single film session. So he's progressing nicely. Obviously having Taylor in the room, another guy with a bunch of experience, is just another voice that we can all lean on. A lot of good, healthy conversations go on. In the quarterback room, nobody doesn't ask questions. Nobody doesn't answer. I mean, it's an open, healthy conversation every single time we walk in there, and it's been really good so far.
That's got to be, when you look around the NFL, you have a bunch of different quarterback rooms, but just kind of the way you guys are broken down with a veteran like Kirk Cousins, you have a young gun like Michael, and the other guy like Taylor, who's really been around the league. This almost has to be like a picture-perfect quarterback room, right?
I'll tell you what, it makes my job a lot easier. Having a guy like Kirk where you don't have to go having those small conversations. You're already at the 500 level conversations when you're explaining some of these things. Now you might have to go back and rehab those conversations with a guy like Mike, who might be hearing some of this stuff for the first time, but he's a super quick learner. He's a sponge with everything that's been said to him, been taught to him. Like I said before, it makes my job really easy, but the dynamic that we have in our room and the players that we have in our room, they're all very good players in their own right. They all have their strengths. They all have, somewhat of a weakness here and there. But they're all, taking on to what we're teaching them, and really locking in and learning our system. And our progression's been great so far.
So just talk a little bit about the progress of Mike. Obviously, coming in first round pick and everything like that, probably a lot's thrown his way. So as far as he's been here a month, so in the last month, what have you seen as far as progress?
I spoke about this a little bit earlier. You can tell he came from a very good set of coaches in college. A lot of the information that has been taught to him, whether it's coverage, blitz protection, just overall knowledge of defense and offense, like he has a lot of experience. He's got a ton of experience, whether it's Indiana or Washington. He's got experience in big games. Nothing's really been too big for him so far. Every rookie's going to have their mistakes, but he lets it go. He gets a little angry, which is good. You want to see that competitive nature in him, but he lets it go, and then he moves on to the next play. And obviously the talent we all know is extremely high, and it's been exciting to see the things that he can do, how quickly he can pick some of the things up that we're teaching him. He's progressing really well.
So, I guess ideally, what would year one look like for Mike? As if you said, okay, this is how I want to look like it.
Well, first and foremost, he's got to catch up. Everybody knows that. No matter how much experience you have in college, the NFL is just different. Whether it's the blitzes, the protections, the coverage, the scheme, the verbiage, all these things are brand new to him. Some things he's heard, some things he hasn't. But the perfect year for him would be as prepared as possible, and learn as much as possible and grow. It's very hard to grow when you're not actually the one playing, but for him to grow as much as possible without, being the one to get the main, lion's share of all those reps. And it's a tough thing because I've been in that shoe before where you're the backup quarterback, but you're not getting any reps. It's tough to learn and grow when you're not physically doing some of those things. So you got to get creative. You got to find different ways where you can test them, you can teach them, you can coach them when you're not actually out there the one getting the reps. So, for him, the year one, learn as much as possible, progress as much as possible, and be ready.
Think about so far the chemistry between quarterbacks and receivers, obviously OTA.
Yep.
How's that going?
It's going great. I mean, our room is, that outside the building, people want to create controversy and all that stuff, but the dynamic in our room couldn't be better. We got two guys with a ton of experience with Taylor and Kirk. You got two young guys that are fresh out of college with not a lot of experience. The conversations we have are so healthy. Everybody's talking, everybody's asking questions, everybody's open to help, everybody's open to learn. We got a bunch of guys on our staff that have a bunch of experience in the quarterbacking world, whether it's coaching, playing, all those different things. So, we have a ton of healthy conversations. Everybody's open, everybody's honest, and it's going really well so far.
What's the dynamic oftentimes people wonder between, guys like Kirk Cousins who've been in the league for a long time, had a lot of success for a long time, and then younger quarterbacks. So what's the main difference when you think about a veteran like Kirk as far as what it is like being around him, as far as how he handles the players, how he handles the guys around him, and maybe like a younger quarterback who needs to get to that point?
Yeah, it was evident day one when Kirk came in this building, the type of leader he is, the type of professional he is, how he interacts with all the different guys on the team, all the coaches, and that's just off the field stuff. His off the field dynamic he brings to gel an offense together is second to none. It's one of the best I've ever been around. And not only from Mike's perspective, learning all those things, learning how to be a professional, learning how to be an NFL pro quarterback off the field. Then on the field is a whole nother different dynamic. You got things you have to learn, things you can see, things you can pick up here and there. Everything's going to be a learning experience for Mike as he goes through this progression of being a rookie. And that's just kind of how it is. And you don't really have a time, especially with the rookie schedule how it is, he's not going to have a time to fully sit down and reevaluate everything that happened this year until next offseason. The way it is, he comes straight from a national championship, straight into draft prep, straight into draft meetings, visits, all that stuff, and he comes straight in here, and it's all about ball. So, he's got to do a good job of, balancing how he's going to handle these things and how much he's going to learn and taking his mental breaks when he can, because that rookie wall is a real thing. If you don't take your time to step away when you have that opportunity, it could end up catching up with you in the end. But no, he's been great so far. He's been so open to learn everything and eager to learn. And he's working his butt off.
How much of a challenge is that for you as a coach right now? Because you go from obviously with Kirk, a veteran quarterback, who you say you don't have to really handle as much.
Yeah.
Then you have a young quarterback like Michael, who you probably have to do a lot more as far as. So I mean, that obviously brings out your versatility as a coach too, right?
Yeah, I think the way that Raheem has it set up, we have our time where all the quarterbacks are meeting together, then they go lift, and we have time where just the rookies are in there. So you have these conversations with everything. They might be different than the conversations you have just with the rookies. So being able to have these high-level conversations with everybody in the room, because you're talking to a guy that's had so much experience in the league, and then going back and breaking it down into simple steps and trying to make it as simple as possible for somebody who's learning it right away for the very first time. So it's a different dynamic. It's something I've been on both sides of it. I've been a kind of a veteran quarterback. I've been a rookie quarterback. I've been in different rooms with different guys. I've coached different positions. So you kind of learn from all your experiences in the league of how to talk and teach to different guys.
See, I told you, T.J. Yates has a really good feel for where this is headed as far as the QB position. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot to talk about because you've covered a million training camps before, and I have. And trust me, I've definitely covered training camps before where there were quarterback controversies, because when you cover teams like the Cleveland Browns, you see nothing but quarterback controversies. So
nobody's ever happy.
No one's ever happy. It's always about, and when you have a new quarterback, it's always about the shiny new toy. That's the greatest part. When you have a young rookie quarterback, we've seen Kirk Cousins. We know who he is, even though he's new with the Atlanta Falcons. We've seen him play NFL football before, but we've never seen Michael Penix play NFL quarterback before. So, of course, fans are going to be like, you know what? I want to see this young cat go. I want to see this young brother roll, So that'll be an interesting dynamic. It will be.
Yes.
So let's talk about some basketball, more specifically Team USA basketball.
Paris. This summer. Paris this summer.
This summer in
End
Paris.
of July, 3-on-3. Ryan Howard. She's going to be one of the women competing for Team USA.
How dope is that?
It's not the first time she's done stuff like this. What?
How dope is that for Ryan Howard?
No, like so cool. She's done like different things. She's represented the country in different ways, but this is by far like the biggest. But yeah, and she has like some. If you'll pull it up, I'm not sure who are the other women who are competing with her.
Cameron Brink.
I remember thinking this is a good group of girls that I
so
think
right
is pretty
here,
cool.
so we have Cameron Brink. That's the rookie for the LA Sparks.
Yep.
Sierra Burdick, Haley Van Lith. Going to be the ones who she's going to be with. Van Lith. Now, Van Lith, I remember Van Lith. She was on that LSU basketball team that played with she played with Angel Reese in that group. So, yeah, I mean, look, this is really 3-on-3. I think that's an interesting dynamic when 3-on-3. Like, I think that's really cool how they do it.
Yeah.
And it really, I think that benefits Team USA a lot too, because especially Ryan Howard, a lot of one-on-one skill and everything like that. And I remember when she was drafted, so it's really cool to see Ryan Howard sort of just grow into this, everything that's come her way so far. I mean, she's a star.
Yeah, at 24, she's the youngest dream player ever to play or compete, I should say, in the Olympics.
Yeah.
She's only the third dream player, period, to compete in the Olympics. Angel McCautry is one of the other ones. D'Souza, I think, is also. So that would be 3 right there. Yeah, I mean, Howard is a great silent leader for that team. Ever since she's come on to the team, things have looked better. Drafted 1
leader.
Overall by Kentucky. Yeah, because she doesn't speak much. She definitely just leads by example.
I like that style.
Sure. Yeah, kind of like you. Did you guys talk about this? But yeah, no, I like her a lot. She's kind to the media. She seems like just such a good person from what I know. And this great things happen for not only great players but great people, and this is a great example of that. The Atlanta Dream, though, tomorrow continue their regular season. The Liberty, I know we talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
The Liberty are in town. They've won 3 in a row. They're 7-2. Is that what you said yesterday? I think.
Yeah,
I
they've been rolling. I think they're 7-2. Yeah, they're 7-2.
So you go from playing the best team, right, in the WNBA and losing to, and I think that's Connecticut, the Sun.
Undefeated.
Yeah,
Sun.
to having to now turn around and play the Liberty. But I mean, this is how it goes. We'll see how they do.
So, look, of course, we'll save some college football for last because I know that's your favorite.
It's my faves.
College football playoff times were announced today. As you go through the rundown here.
And if you'll remember, it's no longer 4 teams. It is now 12.
Yes.
The expansion
I got to
begins.
keep reminding myself of that.
No.
Yes.
So now there's 1 billion games, and we see college. And now we see college football until the end of January, like right before the Super Bowl. So,
But I thought it was about education.
for anybody who misses college football for the first 2 weeks of it being gone, now you get an extra 2 weeks of it. So what the final game is January 20th? Is that what it is?
January 20th, Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah. So the national championship this year is here in Atlanta at the Benz. It was back here in 2018. So 6 years later, I guess Atlanta did a good job because they're back. It's a great venue. But yeah, Scott, we've got a lot. So go ahead. Give the schedule to the people.
So right here, first round, December 20th and 21st.
And then kids don't get to enjoy Christmas.
Right. So you got an 8 p.m. game, 12 p.m. game, 4 p.m. and 8. So, well, I'm just confused on the schedule. So Friday, there's a Friday game. And then on the 21st, there's 3 games that Saturday.
Okay. Love that.
We ain't done yet. We got more.
That's just 4.
Yeah. So that's the first round. Then we got the quarterfinals. December 31st and January 1st. So I don't know how you're going to celebrate your first of the year, but I guess no better way to celebrate in college football.
Let's not forget that all these other bowl games are going on too.
Right, which are pointless at this point, honestly.
So it's wild, but lots of college football this year, lots of it.
You're going to get your fix of college football.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. All right, so the quarterfinals, got the Fiesta Bowl, 7:30 p.m. Tuesday, December 31st. The Peach Bowl is 1 p.m. on Wednesday, June 1st. Rose Bowl, 5 p.m. Wednesday, June 1st. And the Sugar Bowl is also on June 1st, but that one's at night. It's at 8:45.
June 1st?
I'm sorry, January 1st.
I was
January
like,
1st.
wait a minute.
Oh, it was January 1st. I'm sorry. They're all in
Okay,
January.
we're in June right now.
It's all New Year's Day. All those last
There's
3
just
games
too
on New
many.
Year's
It's
Day.
got to just
It's a whole list here.
It's basically become the NBA because NBA ball.
Like, what are we doing here?
Like, why are we still playing in the finals in June?
That's
and
true.
And hockey, too. Fred Campagna told me yesterday that if in hockey these games go to, like, Game 7, they'll play longer than the NBA. Like, they're still playing hockey deep into June. So now college football has done the same.
The greatest part about this, though, is that we get a chance to watch Ohio State at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Monday, January 20th.
Calm down.
Playing for a national championship. That's the greatest part of all this. I'm just saying.
Poor Scott.
Have you had an opportunity to cover? You've covered Ohio State before, so you know how those games are. You know how the crowd is, so you know.
I've covered, and they failed.
Well,
I've covered.
Well, we just call it a lesson, not a failure. We call it a lesson, but I think that's the dopest part is that they'll be right here once again playing for a national championship.
But do you have them winning this year?
Probably, of course. I mean, they're in it every year. Why not? Well, almost every year. I know Michigan got their couple. Let Michigan have their moment. So it's back to Ohio State now. Okay. I mean, it's just. Michigan had to have their moment to make it makes the Big Ten more fun now, right?
I don't know, but there's going to be, how many SEC teams would you say are going to be in that top 12?
It's 12 teams. They're probably 5 or 6 probably.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, just when you think
just
about
thinking preseason, and we're not even there yet. I mean, you'll have Georgia, Alabama, and we don't know if we'll have Alabama, but you would just think that.
Georgia, Alabama, and there'll be a few more.
Well, wait a minute, Texas. Texas for sure.
Yeah, Texas. Yeah.
Like Ole Miss.
Probably.
And let's think of another. I mean, okay, let's say Oklahoma bangs out.
Oklahoma, yeah, probably
that's
them
5
too.
Right there, and we haven't even talked about any of, like, we named one team in the East. I think we literally named Georgia the only. Yeah, we didn't name anybody else. Everybody else is on the west side of things. Well, I don't know. Wait, is Texas and Oklahoma? How are they dividing that? Which side? I don't know which side they're on. Yeah. I need to look that up. Yeah, Ellie, do we have time to look that up?
We got like 45 seconds.
I don't know if you can look it up that fast.
It's all good. Look, this is going to be a college football season not like any other. So that's one thing for sure. So
it's going to be great.
And
then they're going to decide, Scott, this is what's on my mind. They're
Okay.
going to decide that all of a sudden they need to make more. They're going to be like, it's going to be a 16-team playoff.
Yeah, because
20-team
that's
playoff.
the thing with that, though, because no matter how many teams you have making the playoff, the one team who's on the outside is going to complain that they didn't make it. So it doesn't really matter, right? But we'll talk more about that. We have many more days to talk about it. We're getting wrapped up here. Thank you. It's been fun here on Sports Night on a Wednesday. Emily, always fun. We'll see you tomorrow.